How's it going, everybody? Wherever you listen to this podcast right here, this is episode 137 of the TempahZone podcast with your host, me, Amir Max, and that's all facts. And ladies and gentlemen, my special guest in the Zoom building be rapping his ass off, man. It's definitely just relentless with it. Says how he feels in the music and definitely delivers it in a very to your face type of way, man. I was very impressed with every song I heard by him. It was always something you could take away from and think about, which I think is, as a rapper, is a very dope thing to achieve. Ladies and gentlemen, I got Manny Grey in the Zoom building. Manny, what up, dog?
What up? What up? What up, man? So happy to be here, man. Thank you for having me. It's a real honor.
Yeah, no, absolutely, man. We had to make it happen on this one, dog. Especially with the type of content you dropping, man. And for the listeners who are listening via audio, Manny Grey is in the studio right now. All right, he's currently like after this episode, he could just go right into recording some music. You know what I mean? So like,
Right.
I definitely know, the setup and all that stuff's legit, man. How long did how many changes to your home? Is it a home studio you're at right now? It's a home studio.
Yeah.
How many reiterations of your studio have you been through? Like, is this like the third time you've had to change it or upgrade it?
I think I've recorded in every room in this house. Like at least like so many times that thing in the corner has followed me in every single room from the basements to everything else. It's just like a bass trap and everything like that. So at least 5 or 6 times, I've moved this place around. But it's cool because the experience has taught me now I can record in any room and kind of get a gist for what I need.
Yeah, no, I totally feel that, and I mean, in this day and age, man, shoot, there's so much technology out there that you can just make things sound extremely crisp and on point, and if you
Yeah.
got a good engineer, they can really make sure your shit sounding on point.
Yeah, the engineers are definitely doing overtime these days. These guys are putting in work. I got huge respect for those guys to be able to sit there for hours and fix everything up.
Oh yeah, because it's I don't think I think engineers are well aware, like, they make something for you and most likely you're gonna have some revisions to it. So like, just being an engineer,
Mm,
you gotta always deal with just the unknown and what it's a very thankless job. I've definitely said it on here before that.
yeah, yeah, for sure. How many times do you think those guys just turn around and go, "I know," but they don't say it? They
Yeah.
can't. They can't say anything to the artist because they have to maintain that connection. But you can see it in their face. Like sometimes they're just fed up. They're professionals though, so props to them.
Yeah, man. I gotta give all the credit to the engineers, man. But I definitely want to ask you, man, just with listening to the music, it just seems like you've had you're tapped into the music very intensely, and with the content that you're rapping about, I definitely just want to know, man, like, where did it all start from for you with music and getting your foot in the door? Just break down wherever you want to start from with that.
Yeah, like I noticed ever since I was a kid, the first thing I noticed with anything was always the music. Like when I was playing a video game, the music stood out to me. Watching movies, the music. So it was not, you never know when you're a kid, right? But then, fast forward many years later and I run into breaking. I watched some Korean dude do some wild shit on YouTube and I was like, yo, that's possible. So I got into that and that opened my world of what music is. So I got into funk and soul and I was already listening to rock and hip hop, but like my my soundscape just went infinite. And then years later I just started making beats for fun, and before I knew it I was part of like a couple different rap groups. People were trying, everybody raps eventually. And
You would think, I
you
always
know
think, yeah, with rappers, I always feel like we think like, man, I bet everybody's tried to at least write a 16 once before.
everyone, all of us, it's like we're like the guitarists from the 80s. Like everybody played guitar in the 80s. They all can do four chords.
Yeah.
Everybody can spit some bars these days, you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's
um
that funny. Yeah.
Yeah, so like after the beats, like it just felt right. Like after the very first time I stepped on stage and the very first time people cheered for me without me having to say anything, I knew it was for me.
Mm, yeah, that's real shit. Yeah, man. When was the first time you ever hit the stage? You remember? Like, how old?
Probably 19 years old, and so like it was like a little talent show above a restaurant. You know what I mean? Like I definitely because I was part of a group, we definitely like overdressed. You know what I mean? Button ups and shit like that. We wore those button ups for like 2 years straight. Shit, but like
That's
you
very
know,
funny.
I don't. I just from the very beginning though, I knew that if I was going to be performing, I wanted it to be a spectacle. I wanted people to feel good about rappers when they saw them because I feel like you know, I don't. That was something that has been with me from the beginning. Anybody who sees me live, well, they'll tell you like, "Yo, even if you don't like his music, this dude is nasty live. He's good," and that has followed me since. And I'm really proud of that.
Yeah, yeah, no, absolutely. The live performances to never be slept on. You can literally make a whole career just on the fact that you could be a
Yeah,
dope live performer. You know what I mean? So
yeah,
that's definitely one of those
yeah.
things. Yeah.
No A, no AI for that yet.
Yeah, yeah, right. Yeah, it is. I hope that's not
Yeah,
in our lifetime. I don't want to. That AI shit is it's scary. The creative stuff we weren't gonna
yeah.
be, messed with, but they can write raps though. The AIs can write raps now.
They can write raps. They're gonna figure out them holograms. We're gonna be in trouble, man.
Yeah.
We're gonna be in trouble, dude.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting. God knows what's gonna happen 10 years from now, 15 years from now. And that's a lot when it comes to
Yeah,
technological advancements, where it's gonna go.
yeah.
Shit, it could even happen sooner, some crazy shit, dog. Even 5 years.
I know.
But
Right.
yeah, that's a whole nother, ball game in my opinion. When it comes to the live performance though, what would you say are some things that you do to prepare yourself to go on there and really just give it your all? What's some things you'd want to share at least with that?
I run 4 miles and rap the whole time.
Oh shit. Okay.
Like it's
There
like
we go.
yeah, like I take it very serious. Like I really don't like running out of breath. I don't like it. It's something that really bothers me. You know, every performer has that thing in the back of their mind, right? That maybe no one else notices. I notice, and I just don't like I don't like ever running out of breath. That's the number one thing. And then also it's just like uh I before I have a run of performances, I spend more time breaking than anything else because I find that when I dance, I become more sensitive to the music in a way that really shows in the live performance. You know, even at the events, if there's enough space, I'm warming up, spinning, throwing windmills. You know, that's just how I start every session.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That's staying in serious shape, man. And I think some people maybe some people I always tell them when it comes to performing, like there's being in shape and then there's being in performing live shape. Like they're two
Yeah, it's
different
not the
things.
same.
No,
Yeah, yeah,
it's
yeah.
like
Like sometimes people are surprised, like not so much these days because I don't rap as fast as I used to,
yeah.
but when I used to rap really fast, people would be surprised that to find out that like as a kid I was asthmatic. You know, I couldn't even go outside because I would just get so sick. So like nowadays, I know what it's like to not have the privilege of being able to express yourself physically. And now that I can, I take full advantage of it because you know there's only a short period of time where you're most athletic. You know what I mean? So when people see the live show, I want them to feel like it's visceral. I want the visuals to match the music. I want the whole thing to feel like it's their money's worth. But more than anything, one of the things that makes me really proud is I've had multiple people come up to me through the years and say, "I don't like rap, but I like you." And that
Wow.
allows me to shatter their prejudice just a little bit. Or people say, "Hey, good job," and they'll walk out after other acts. Like sucks for those people, but as an ambassador of hip hop, someone that's really proud to be a piece of the culture, that makes me very proud to know that I showed what hip hop really is to these people. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, absolutely. And it's I think about how hip hop's coming up on its 50th anniversary this year. And I think about,
Yeah,
shit like that you say, like, these foundations of hip hop, these certain aspects of it that people are trying to keep alive. Like, we got to keep that shit alive, man. And by any
yeah,
means. And I think to have people be like, I don't like hip hop, but I like what you did. It definitely is just
yeah.
one step to maybe even someone becoming an actual fan and digging into the genre and realizing just how in depth it really is.
Yeah, and even you know if you want to get deeper, it's like there's a big racial bias when it comes to hip hop still, even though it's the most
100%.
popular genre, you know. And so like people, if they look at that, maybe you know it would be awesome if I did a rap song and then some dude was like, "I was wrong about black guys." Like, it would be great.
That would
It's
be
not
yeah,
gonna
that'd be
happen.
fantastic. Yeah.
It'd be
Oh
great. I'd be
man.
like, "Yeah, man," but it's not. It's like just a small shattering of prejudice. If I can do that, then I've done something right. You know?
Yeah, no, it's rap's one of those genres where you can just get shit off that you just can't in any other genre. I stand on that. Like
Yeah,
you can
yeah,
fit more words in it, you can inflect yourself in ways that you just can't in other genres. And I think that, with
yeah,
this
yeah.
platform, you gotta use it and spread a message in it the proper way. If you feel right, if you can and you want to and you
Mm.
feel comfortable with it, don't force yourself to be cautious if you can't.
Yeah, but that's what's interesting about hip hop, and I think that's why it's winning so much for the past, what, 15 years now, is because it eats every other genre and still remains the same. You know, we take everything from everything else and it's still hip hop, but rock can't say that. Classical can't say that. You know what I'm saying? It just becomes this. It's almost like this is until something else shows up. It's almost like this is the end game for music. You know?
Yeah, yeah, right. Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's a very good point, man. And it's I've said it before on this platform, but like if you could know what the next big genre is gonna be, you'd be a billionaire. Like and
right,
but right now it just
right.
seems like hip hop's that thing. And I feel like 20 years ago someone said like, oh, hip hop's dead. That 20 years later, it looks
Yeah,
like it's pretty, intact if you ask me.
yeah. So like next year, breaking is officially a part of the Olympics in Paris, France,
Oh
and
yeah. That's
there
so
was
dope.
there was like a voting system. Yeah, there was like a voting system for what event is going to be a part of it, and breaking was one of many. And when breaking won, people were furious. They're like, "Nobody's breakdancing anymore. What are they talking about? Blah blah blah."
So,
Just tune in, man. Tune
hmm
in. It's gonna be crazy.
yeah, dude, that's so cool. And I think, when that becomes more public, and there's a worldwide audience on it, imagine what it's gonna do to the more people who aren't privy to it, haven't seen enough. Like I even think about like I always I think of the Summer Olympics. Like I always think of the one sport that you don't see a lot that I always like really like is handball. Like I
Mm.
never would have thought of like
That shit was
thinking of
like
yeah,
this shit.
but yeah, it looks cool as hell, man. But like that's just like to me, like I like in college, I dead ass when my friends were like, "Yo, like we should find a handball league," like But like, I
Yeah,
even think
yo.
we're like, and I say that because I even think we're breaking. Like I feel like that, being so tied with hip hop, like that could really have a chance of inspiring, people just all around the world to bring it back. And shoot, next thing you know, that
Yeah,
that intense dancing is gonna become like what it was in the '70s and when rap started out.
yeah,
It's dope.
yeah. It's dope. I'm really happy for them.
Yeah, man. How long have you been breaking for? How long have you been doing that?
15 years, man.
Oh, okay. So, damn, that's
Yeah, a long
that's
time. Yeah.
damn.
I'm slowing down now. I'm being honest, I'm slowing down. Like the power is not exactly the same as it used to be, but I'm so grateful for it, man. It gave me every good thing that I have in my life. It gave me my health. It gave me my sanity. I'm so grateful the dance found me.
Yeah, dude. I feel like a lot of times people say that with just any form of dance, and just all the people I know who dance or do that, they always seem to be more calm and cool and collected about shit, man. I'm dead serious. It seems like it does something
Yeah,
for them. You know what I mean? It's like
yeah,
like sometimes being like the big jack dude. It's like usually they're the nicest people, because
yeah,
or someone
yeah,
that could kick your ass, like someone who does jujitsu. They're usually calm people. Like there's
yeah,
certain mediums that it's a type of person you might have a perception of it when you realize, but then you realize like actually these are very calm people so
right.
yeah.
Yeah, it gets it out of you. I don't know what it is, but you're right.
Exactly. Yeah, yeah. You said it. Yeah. It gets that whatever it is out of you and just makes you feel a little bit better. And I guess I'd say all that to say to anybody listening, like, do something that gets you active because all those things are keep you active and keep you rolling. I think it's just tied into us to move and just
Yeah,
keep the body rolling. And it could be in any form. It doesn't have to be
yeah,
working out 6 times a week.
yeah. I mean, you're in shape. What do you do?
I go to the gym 3-4 times a week. I've been consistent for 2 years now though. So I've been, but
That's
I've,
what's up, man.
I grew up playing sports. I played rugby for 4 years in high school, 1 year in college. So I try to stay active as best as I can, but I've had a rut, after graduating college, but I've been consistent for 2 years now.
Right.
I've highly suggested, doing some sort of physical activity to people out there, but I don't try to preach it too much because I've seen people get
Yeah.
sensitive about it,
Yeah, I
and I
feel
don't
you.
want to be that guy who's like, "You should go to the gym. You should go to the
Yeah.
gym because it does this." And it's like that. If you don't know that, like I don't know, like you've heard it before. That's how I feel. Like I'm not gonna
Like,
be
yeah,
the one to change your mind.
yeah,
Yeah,
like if you don't know that, we don't need to be talking because there's obviously bigger problems here than your
exactly.
weight. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
like if you don't know
So,
working out is
yeah,
gonna make you mentally feel better, I don't know what to tell you. You know what
yeah,
I mean? Like
yeah.
yeah,
Just
it's just
please.
yeah, it's just one of those things, man. But I try to just, lead by example and just, less talk, more action, and it just in certain aspects of my life. Cause it's just like, why do I need to tell you, to do something? It's like, you're going to make up your mind regardless of what I say. So
Ah, fuck that. I'd be judging them. I'm joking. I'm joking. I'm
old
joking.
me used to be like that. No, that's funny.
They're like, yo, what are you doing, man? There's
Yeah.
two doors and you're in the way of both of them.
Yeah.
Move. Like,
That is funny as
like,
hell, man. Hey, sometimes that aspect, man. It's I can't say that's completely wrong, but I can. I've learned to just let people do their thing and just,
yeah,
if you want to go ahead,
yeah,
don't. Too bad. So
yeah,
yeah, yeah, definitely one of those
yeah.
things, man. That's funny. Um, I want to ask you though, man. You sent me this song, "Bad Minute," and I dead ass was like, holy shit, when I heard it and saw the video. I'm not playing, man. I heard this song, I was like, oh shit, like this is one of them joints, and I was like, one of the first things I said after listening, I was like, this dude's definitely inspired by like, like rappers, as some people may say. What was the motivation
Word.
behind making a song like Bad Minute?
So I walked away from music for a long time because I had done it for so long that I was like, do I even like this? Is this one of those things that I'm doing just because I've done it for so long?
Mm.
You know what I mean? And I didn't want that to be the case. So I went out into life and I explored like a lot of other things. I started doing all sorts of stuff. I tried to start a few businesses that like I was doing well, but I just didn't have the drive to like chase them at all. And like it got to the point where I was even like thinking about fighting professionally. You know what I mean? I'm in these gyms throwing hands, and I'm just like everything that I did in those like 2 year period, all I thought about was music, no matter what it was. So I was like, this is the thing that I'm supposed to be doing. And like there was some personal experiences that happened with my family that kind of like finalized that because that beat had been sitting around for like a year and a half and I hadn't done anything with it. Like I was just like, this is a dope beat. I don't know, blah blah blah. And then eventually some experiences occurred and the words finally came and it was really about, you know, this is what I'm here for. You
Mm.
know, this is the thing that I'm supposed to be doing and I don't have to worry about the judgment of others or how other people feel. And something about that felt so like it just made me feel strong. It just made me feel strong to be able to like say those words finally. It's like, yo, I've been dead for a bad minute. I haven't been myself. I haven't been fighting for the thing that I know matters to me. You know what I mean? And the song is almost like it's like an audio version of just standing up. You know what I mean? Just standing up and being proud of who you are and just going for it. You know?
Yeah. Yeah, I feel that, man. I think artists go through a lot of that sometimes. It's like, especially if you've been doing it for a while. It's like, man, like, should I keep doing this, or is it just because like I feel like I
Yeah.
have to? Like, what is really gonna happen? Sometimes you gotta step away and just live life and just do
Yeah.
something else and then see if it really meant something
Yeah.
to you. Yeah, dude, that's
Right.
some real
Yeah.
shit. Yeah, man. Would you say the passion for music has been stronger than ever before because of your stepping away from it? What would you say that level of enjoyment of the creation of music is now for you?
I think I just kind of understand what it means to me
Yeah.
and like how I feel about it changed. And I think that like allowing myself to, so I enjoy it a lot more now, but also I don't put the same pressure on myself to
Mm.
create that I used to. And it had like this weird inverse effect where like I create even more now. I think obviously part of that is because I put in the years worth of work to understand certain things like song structure, yada yada yada. But like now I'm in a place where like I have the tools to properly express myself, and I feel like that is so relieving. It allows me to just create with a kind of freedom that I didn't have before. Because when you first start, you're kind of playing a character, right? Like you're kind of being like this artist you think you're supposed to be instead of the artist that you are. You have to
Mhm.
express yourself like who you are as you get older. And I'm finally in a place where like my music is me. When you hear this music, you know that this is coming from like a real place.
Mhm. Yeah, it takes time to figure out your sound, and it could take. It's not a quick process. You know what I mean? Like,
No.
yeah, even if you listen to some of these big name rappers, their first songs they sound like a direct copy of Lil Wayne or like 50 Cent, or
Yeah.
like they sound like Tupac. Like you hear rappers
Yeah.
when they first start out, like, yo, they literally just sounded like that artist, and then they have to find a way to shape their own
Yeah.
sound one way or the other. So. Mhm.
Right. And some people never get here. And I'm so grateful to be able to be here in this like creative position. Like I know who I am. I there's a performer from Maine named Miles Bullen, and he creates like a very soft, artful rap. It's like super poetic and stuff. And he has a song that goes through my head a lot, which is I am not for everybody. And I think about that line all the time. It's like when you accept that your music is not for everybody, it's for who it's for.
Mm.
Like my music, I don't make chill music. People tell me all the time, like, yo, you have a great voice. You should rap over some chill beats. And I do occasionally for the fun of it. But I don't make chill music, man. I make music for people that move, who got shit to do. I think part of the reason why you can appreciate Bad Minute is because you go to the gym multiple times a day. You have a physical job. You know what it's like to have to go to that place in your head to get it done. And people who don't know what it's like to get past that, Bad Minute just sounds like a guy yelling. You know what I mean? And so,
That's funny. Yeah, it's like this guy's angry.
yeah, yeah, what's
uh,
wrong with this man? Tell him
yeah,
to chill. But people like yourself,
that's
people like
funny.
yourself who have that self awareness are able to tap in, and those are the people I'm speaking to. You know?
Yeah, yeah. No, I definitely like hard shit that bumps. Yeah, like all my favorite songs.
Yeah,
Like if someone's like, "What are your five favorite songs right now?" It'd be all shit that goes hard. Yeah. So,
yeah, and in your
and
head you're just slamming like,
yeah, I
you
like
know?
chill music. And I think it does a time and place, but I'm definitely more so in like, let's bump some shit. Let's play some shit that's headbanging.
Right.
Yeah, but to
Yeah,
each his,
yeah.
yeah, yeah. To each his own on that one, man. You know what I mean? There's a time and place for any type of style, obviously. So,
Right.
that's how
Right.
I feel there, man. Now when I was going through your music, man, I was very taken aback in a good way, obviously, by your song "Y'all," and man, like you that song, you are talking that shit, bro. And this is definitely like a song where it's like a lot more like cautious rap in my opinion. I put it like, whereas Bad Minute, I felt like it's you getting some shit off your chest about you. This song was like, nah, you're clearly it's called y'all. Like it makes it very clear like what you're about to
Yeah,
get
it's
yourself
just
into. Yeah, exactly. Like you, yeah.
yeah,
Was it tough
yeah.
to write a song like this? Did it flow when you were writing it? Just talk about like a creation, like a song like this.
Yeah, that song came right out of me. Like, cause that comes from a project I did called Embers, and it's like a lot of that project was made mostly because I just needed to like close a chapter on some things. So a lot of those songs I don't even really agree with these days, but it's something that I needed to put out. But like y'all specifically was like I was real sick of the bullshit. You know what I mean? I can swear on here, right? Because I've done
Oh,
it a few times.
absolutely. Yeah. Oh, yeah, for sure. Yeah,
Okay, word.
for sure.
Um, Yeah, no, yeah, I was just real sick of the bullshit because, like, I'm sure we'll get into it more, but like, at one point I walked from Massachusetts to Florida, right? And part of the thing that I learned from that experience was like, I would go in one state, right, and I would hear the news about another state, then I would be in that state, and that news didn't happen. You know what I mean? And
Hmm.
so I'm like, I'm experiencing life this way, and then I come home, and it's just lies after lies after lies, and finger pointing, and everybody's blaming someone else, and no one's taking responsibility, and yada yada yada. I just got frustrated. I was like, yo, y'all need to just look, man. This is what's happening. I even to the point where I saw people who believed that they were like, the leaders of like the black movement and Black Lives Matter and stuff like that, this incredibly important cultural moment, and they're hijacking it for their own gains. I was like, man, fuck these people, man. Fuck these
Mhm.
people for doing this to us. So
Yeah.
that song was a lot of rage towards people who are like mismanaging what it means to help others.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's just like so many people just have a tough time looking at who they really are. And looking at why they do the things they do, and maybe and then it just comes down to people just having a hard time facing the hard truth. I think a lot
Yeah,
of times people need
yeah,
to, yeah, and music's a great outlet for sure. You know what I mean? I've plenty of times music's
yeah.
taught me a thing or two, and I think a song like this could definitely, you know, somebody who maybe might listen to the song and go like, oh, who does this guy think he is telling people what they should do? Are probably the same people who have things they got to look into themselves about. So,
Yeah. I mean, I think 50 Cent said it best, right? Like, if we can't be friends, at least we could be enemies. I don't believe I have any enemies, but
mm,
I understand the sentiment of that. It's like, if you don't like me, that means it triggered an emotion, which means you felt something. You felt something. So where'd that come from? Because all I did was point something out. Am I talk? It's if did the shoe fit? If the shoe fit, that sounds more like your problem than mine. You know what I mean? And I'm okay with that because this is hip hop. Hip hop is a competitive platform where we point out bullshit when we want to. We can do that.
mhm. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Hip hop is 1,000% meant for pointing out bullshit, pointing out all types of
Yeah.
stuff, man. And the song definitely did the mission on that, man, which definitely leads me to wanted to ask you, I was gonna ask you about just I'll ask you about the cautious rap. I want to ask you about just that this whole thing about just making a song about something that's going on in the world. Do you do you feel like there is not enough of it going on in today's music, in the forefront? What's your whole opinion on that? Because I feel like sometimes people, I think it might be just out of not listening to newer music, but a lot of times people go, "Oh, rap's not, addressing as many issues as it once did." Like songs like "Fight the Power," and they might name other big songs, but like, what's your take
Mm.
on that?
Yeah. If you would ask me this question 5 years ago, I would have threw my hands up and walked around and shit and started being like, I would have went off. You know what I mean? I would have went off
Yeah.
about how like, oh, there's no one. Blah, blah. But in reality, man, it's like I remember I was in a car once and someone was playing music out of a Bluetooth speaker and some hip hop was playing. I forget who the artist was. It was one of the more popular artists, and they were talking right over the music. And I was like, was nobody listening to these words? And then I realized I was like, oh, this is this is vibe music. This is not for listening to. It's ambiance. You know what I mean? That's all it is. And I think that people they take like they make their music so personal. They think that their tastes are superior. When people don't realize like what music is that like music doesn't really, in my opinion, music doesn't really make you a certain way. You're attracted to a certain kind of music because you are a certain way. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? Like you listen to metal because you're a hype, aggressive dude or something like that. So this music that's popular is fine. It's fine. People are enjoying it. They're liking it. Why do you want people to not like stuff? Not you
Exactly. Yeah, yeah,
specifically,
yeah. No, I know what you mean.
but in
Yeah.
general, it's like, yeah. Plus, if you look at it, who are the top three rappers right now? It's like Kendrick Lamar, J. Cole, and Drake. Drake is a very emotional. He speaks from a lot of his lyrics talk to the heart. J. Cole, a lot of his stuff talks about the situations, and then Kendrick talks about the hood in a way with a very unique perspective. So I disagree with that statement that there's not enough conscious rap. I think it's right where it needs to be.
Mhm.
Unless you're one of them New York backpacker dudes, like yo man, yo son, like
Yeah,
those dudes
yeah.
get wild about it. Like, yeah,
Yeah.
it's just
No.
because you're not famous. That's why you mad about this shit for real, you know?
Yeah, exactly. They have certain things they're
Yeah,
projecting. Yeah, and I agree with everything you just said there, man. I only asked the question because I hear the type of music you make, and I definitely think it's good that with the style you're creating, that you have this perspective. Because I think sometimes people may listen to somebody who is lyrical and may think there's certain things they might look at rap like, oh, rap's not what it used to be, and
yeah,
rap used to be better back then. And it's like, well,
yeah,
if you just open your eyes into everything, you realize like you can find what you want. You can
yeah.
find what you
That's
want
the
in rap
beauty of the
music.
internet.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Whatever people are into, they're into. Like, don't think people don't. I had to learn years ago, just like you did. Like, if that's what you like, that's what you like, and there's not. I shouldn't look into it anymore and think you're not. Oh, you're not as smart as I am because I know all the lyrics to this very
Yeah.
deeply lyrical song. It's weird. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, yo, it's just let it go. Let people enjoy things.
Exactly, man. People like what they like, and music is supposed to have all sort of ways it can relate to the people. It's just that simple. It's there's so many ways people can digest music. So, yeah, man. I
Yeah.
definitely great answer there, man. And you when I asked you about y'all, you mentioned the walk. You did a whole 7 episode series on walking from Mass to Florida. Um, that is some insane shit, and I mean that as a compliment. I mean it as a compliment, man, because I
Thank
think
you.
when I hear that, I just think, man, you probably learned so much about yourself. But talk about this journey, this excursion that you went on doing this walk. What made you want to do it? Like
So
all
like
that.
the bit like I was gonna say, it's like the number one thing is just why not, man? Why not? That was like the number one thing that was bouncing around in my head. It was like, why not do this? And California was too far. So I was like, let me go down instead of across.
Yeah.
And I was like I was like, yo, I can do this. And I was going through I had just gone through like a very serious injury that kind of like sidelined me from dancing.
Mm.
And one of the things that was in my head was like, yo, if you don't do this now, there's a very realistic chance that you will never be able to do this. Like that's how serious the injury was. Because I was looking at like surgery that would leave me, laying on my back for like a year. And luckily I never had to do anything like that. Um, but yeah, going on the walk itself is like people talk about loneliness. People don't know what loneliness is, man.
Yeah.
Until you're by yourself, there's no one around for 10, 15 miles. It's raining and it's hot. You have no idea what it's like to be like, and you have to face so many things about yourself and about your relationship to the world, your relationships, and it really changed my perspective on in terms of like what I was appreciating and how much I should be appreciating it openly. It changed a lot of those things for me.
Yeah. Absolutely, dude. And did you let people know you were gonna go on this? Like, were people aware like you were taking this walk, and were they checking up on you to see how things were going? Like, what was that aspect of the walk like?
Yeah, I did a little bit. I kind of made it a little theatric. Like I just showed up to a couple of different people's houses with like a bag, and I just dropped it on a table. I was like, "I'm walking to Florida, kid," and they're
Yeah.
like, "All right," because it's me. Like people who know me, they're like, "Whatever, man. Like just
They
be
understand
safe."
that's yeah, exactly. Yeah, bet.
Yeah, no surprise at all. Like obviously, my parents, like my mother was very like concerned. My brother was very concerned, and it wasn't really a thing until the day I was leaving, and that's when like the nerves started to come out for a lot of people. But I checked in with everybody. I like definitely used that resource the further I got. I would call more often because I was expecting not to talk to anybody for like a month, and like 9 days in, I'm like, yo, this is not easy, man. So yeah, that was one of the things like my family definitely helped get me through.
Yeah, that's awesome. You have the support of the fam to let do what you want to do, and just just support that mission, man. How long did it take? How long was this walk?
76 days. It took me 2.5 months.
Oh my god, that's a
Looking
long
looking
time.
back
Yeah, but
now, I could probably do it in 60 now, I think, knowing what I know now.
yeah, man. Oh my god. And where'd you sleep?
So originally my plan was to sleep outside, but the Northeast is not a safe place.
No.
So I was like, no, like I would get to a place, I'm like, okay, I'll sleep here. I'll start setting up camp. Like I had a cart, I had the bags and stuff, and there would be like broken Henny bottles and needles and like another tent, a fire or remains of a fire. I was like, I'm gonna get stabbed if I sleep here. So I would just move, I would just go somewhere else. And it got to the point where like I was like, I'm just gonna stay in hotels, and I would just walk from hotel to hotel like a save point. And it just really made me feel. That was ultimately the best decision because the recovery was so difficult each day. Like waking up, I had to do like rubber band work every day. I had to stretch every morning, and I had to shower. It worked out going
Yeah.
from hotel to hotel.
Damn, man. That's ill. That's ill, man. Did you have any
Thanks.
fun on the way, dude? Like, did you, hit up any like cool spots on the way? Like, let me check out this bar real quick and see what's going on.
That shit was not fun, man.
Nah.
The walk was not fun, man. Like that's
Oh
what
man.
that's what a lot of people think. They're like, man, he must have had so much fun being free.
Yeah.
No, it was very meaning. It was very meaningful. And
Yes,
if I had to do it
absolutely.
again, you know, yeah, I would never do it again though. Like people started sending me like trips to California. To this day they tag me when someone else is doing a walk. They send me the transatlantic highway. I'm never doing that kind of distance again. Like the
I don't blame you.
it's yeah, it's just yeah, but yeah, the I think that meaning, like some of the things that, for example, like I grew up with a really difficult life. I had a really hard childhood, and so I was very distant from my family for many years before the walk. I hadn't talked to my own sister in almost 5 years. So after the walk, we're redeveloping that relationship again, because you start to understand like that when there are people out there who really don't like you, when there's people out in this world who want to hurt you for any reason, when you're when there are people there that are willing to love you and willing to care about you, you have to open your heart to that. And unfortunately, I'm so hard-headed. I had to do it through tremendous pain in order to be able to open my heart to that. And that's more of a consequence of how I was raised. But, I'm happy it happened. I got to put a lot of stuff down that I was carrying with me for a long time because of that walk.
Yeah. Oh my God, dude. Yeah. I didn't even have to think about asking you like how therapeutic and how much you learned about yourself was from it. Like I could just assume like doing something like that, you come out of it just like with a better understanding of just how people are, yourself, the world,
Yeah.
just your overall aspect of just life, man, just gonna change after
Yeah.
some shit like that. And it's dope you came out safe and have the story to tell, man. Because I don't I you're the only person I know who can talk some shit like that, who's done a walk like that. Like that's badass, bro. That's
Yeah.
definitely some badass shit.
Thank you.
Yeah, man.
Thank you. It's funny because I watched that. I'm so much stronger than when I started. That when I watched that video, like when I watch him back, I'm like, shut. I'm talking to myself. I'm like, shut up, man. You're so
Yeah.
weak. Like just because the dude has no idea what he's about to get into. You know what I mean? He sounds so soft, but like that's one of those things. Like you grow from everything. The walk is a very powerful metaphor for me. So when things get really dark, I just remember it's literally one step at a time, no matter what it is, and you get there.
Mm. Yeah, that's real shit, dog. That is real shit, man. Well, that's a great story to tell, man. I think some people might look at you and be like, what's wrong with this guy? I could do that. But I think the people who understand like
Yeah.
what that takes and what would make a person do that realizes like how dope that is and how much that means and what that carries. So that's all you got to know and be wary of, man. Obviously
Thank
what
you.
it did for yourself, man. No, 100%, dog, 100%. And I was going to the YouTube page. I was like, oh, I gotta ask about this. I was like, there's no way I'm not. The music's fire, but we go talk about this real quick. So yeah,
I'm glad I could give you some options, man.
yeah, for sure. Options were definitely there, man. In terms of you definitely are pushing Bad Minute. You got multiple videos promoting it and different versions. But what's next for Manny Grey that you'd want to share with the people?
So I'm working just on the best music that I can. And now that I know who I am and I know what kind of music that I make and the kind of people that are attracted to it, I'm just trying to find my clan, man. Just trying to make the best music that I can, do the best shows that I can. If people haven't seen me, you should really come see me live. The music is one thing, but when you see the person attached to it, it'll truly tell you that this music is for you.
Mm. Yeah, absolutely, man. Next time you got a show, man, just send me the info, dog. I'll see if I can make it out for you. I definitely do my best to support the local scene and step out for the artists I mess with, man. So definitely shoot that out there,
Word.
dog. Absolutely. My last question for you before we wrap it up, because it's been a really dope interview, man. A lot of dope shit you said and let the people know about. I ask this with every artist, every guest I have on. What's some advice you'd give to any artist starting out that you wish you received when you started out? What's some piece of advice or tips you'd want to share with them and with the people in general?
I feel so weird about this question because I feel like I'm not in a place to give advice. Is that strange? You know what I mean?
I appreciate the honesty. Yeah, no, for sure. But I definitely feel like but everything you've been saying, I feel like there's maybe a few things you might be able to share. That might help somebody out. But I know what you mean.
I'm sitting here all talking all this shit, and then we play, some random dude just finds me on the street. Like, it's not like I'm not some high top dude yet, but
yeah.
I guess to answer your question, I think I don't know. Like, it's real simple, man. It's just try. Like, failure is a part of the process, and it's fine. It's fine. It's okay, man. Mess up, you fall down, you get up, you continue. It's one of those things that like nobody wants to hear that answer. Those people that you praise are like, not you specifically, but they're the people that we praise about, oh, he never miss. Yeah, he does. Mm-hmm. You just don't see it. They're controlling the perception. Just try, man. Just try.
Yeah. Simple as that. They don't want to hear it, but it's the truth. Yeah, the cliche sayings are always the best ones, and then the ones that pertain to most truth. Them shit that older people told you when you were young. You grow up, you're like, oh shit, they were right.
Yeah.
They were 1,000% right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's definitely one of those things, man.
Now I talk to old people.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you understand like everything they were saying. They already let me know, and I just didn't want to listen. I had to go through it myself. But yeah, man.
Right.
That's great, Manny Grey. Thank you very much for being on the TempahZone podcast, man. I really appreciate your time here. This has been a really dope episode, dog. Where can the people follow you? Where can they reach you and find all the music and everything you post?
You can find me on YouTube at Manny Grey, Grey with an E, Manny Grey Music with an E, Spotify, Manny Grey. It's pretty much Manny Grey everywhere.
Simple and to the point, ladies and gentlemen. That's what I'm talking about. Yes, man, absolutely. Thank you once again for being on the show, dog. Really appreciate it, man, for real.
Thank you for having me, man. I had a lot of fun.
Yeah, awesome. Ladies and gentlemen, that is another episode of the TempahZone podcast. Make sure you tune in next week for another episode, all righty? Peace out.